All right, let's try take 3 of this one. As I point the camera towards One Bloor West, a super tall, dominating the north end of the downtown skyline. And hey there, today is Tuesday, May 12th. It is, what time is it? 5:41 p.m., which kind of sucks. The first attempt I did at this started at 5:25 p.m. The temperature right now is 9 degrees Celsius, and we should be getting rain in about an hour. And that is Dundonald Street just behind me, where there's an entrance to Wellesley Station. And this here is James Canning Gardens, one of 3 linear parks that runs parallel to Yonge Street. And I'm going to be doing something in this one that I haven't done since 2021. And that is record a hands-free walk. So I'm going to switch over to the DJI Osmo Pocket 4, which I have chest mounted here, which is normally a setup I would use for cycling videos, but I'm going to use it for a walking video today. And hopefully I'll notice if the camera decides to stop recording, as it just did during my previous 2 attempts. I'm going to head north through these 3 linear parks, and then maybe I'll wander over towards and around Yorkville. So why would I do a hands-free recording? Well, because I can. It's something that I just wanted to try again. One of the biggest disadvantages of this, I'll switch back to the Pocket 3, is that the camera is kind of horizontally mounted, or rather vertically positioned. It is upright like this instead of like this. When I record my videos with the camera handheld, I hold the camera like this, kind of flat, which helps smooth out that kind of bobbing up and down you get when you use a 3-axis gimbal. You need a 4-axis gimbal if you want it to be perfectly smooth. Here, I'll do a comparison. I'll put the Pocket 3 on the right and the chest-mounted camera on the left. I would imagine the camera on the right now looks a little smoother. But you can be the judge and let me know down in the comments. Another thing you can do to mitigate that bobbing is to incorporate a bit of a ninja walk, where you get your knees involved. But I actually don't mind a little bit of that up and down motion. Kind of simulates real walking. If things are too smooth, it kind of feels like the camera is on rails a bit too much. As I head through the Norman Jewison Park. This is Isabella Street here. And I'll head through George Hislop Park up to Charles Street, then I'll pop over to Yonge. This would also be handy if it were raining. As holding an umbrella ties up one of my hands, but one of the big disadvantages is while I can pan left to right quite easily, all I have to do is twist my chest. I can't really look up and down, so if I wanted to look up at One Bloor East and West up ahead, I can't do that because I've got it tilt locked to keep the horizon steady. So I could whip out a secondary camera here and look up and dodge the idiot riding his e-bike through a public park. This is kind of cool. I dig the lighting and the mirror. So if I need to look up or down, I'll whip this second camera out of my pocket. Some neat artwork. The Andor house. Part of me does kind of feel like a dork walking around with the camera like this. Also, if I whip out my camera to look something up, or rather my smartphone, I have to be careful not to hold it too high, or I might record what I'm doing.
You're on delivery. You need a sign. I can't take it back.
Well, that parking enforcement officer has already written the ticket, but he's being kind of courteous, telling that guy, oh, look at that dent, his options for fighting it. He told him to get a sign to say that he's on delivery to put in his windshield. I always wondered if that actually worked. This is Youngster. I'm just going to make sure I'm still recording here. I should hear a beep if it stops.
Down that one random side.
Well, I won't lie, this is kind of nice. That's Young and Bloor just up ahead. Hands-free. Well, it's 5:50, the tail end of rush hour. What I could do, if there's nobody around, is go on a little run to see how this thing handles it. Oh, now I'm going west on Bloor Street through the Mink Mile in Yorkville. When I get out from under the scaffolding, I'll try ninja walking a little bit just to see if that smooths things out.
Yeah, I don't know if you use all of them. I don't even know how many Alex I sent them with, but.
Pretty wild to get into a fist fight, get that first person perspective. Not that I wish that to happen. All right, let's try. So if I walk slow and very deliberate and calmly, I feel like an idiot, and I'm sure I look like one, but I imagine this is a bit smoother. All right, back to normal walking. It's a good amount of people out.
Yeah, the other one's not that.
Holt Renfrew. That's interesting. If I hold the camera, it doesn't seem to jostle as much. I'm not holding it now. Now I'm holding it. I wonder if that made it better. I'm just kind of pinning the camera against my chest in place. There's a Good Life Fitness. That Beamer got a ticket. Yorkville Village is just to the north of here. Well, no one's been really looking at me any differently.
Nice shot, good.
All right, let's go to Avenue Road. Maybe I'll head north and meander through Yorkville Village. One of those two things does not belong in the bike lane. Can you guess which one? Oh, the planetarium is being demolished. That's right around the corner from here. I don't know if we'll get much of a glimpse of it. But because of my two misfires to record this, I lost time, so I'm going to want to finish up along line 2. Otherwise, I would head down and take a peek. But basically, I heard the camera turn off all on its own for some reason. I have no idea why. Fortunately, I heard that. There's the Church of the Redeemer. And this is Queen's Park on the left. No apostrophe on the signs, although there are apostrophe S's on other Queen's Park signs. Yeah, we can't really see the planetarium demolition from here. But we can see the CN Tower. One advantage of this setup is if I want to look something up, it's a lot easier to do it two-handed on my phone. If I see something, I don't know what it is, some construction, some kind of change or event, it's a lot easier to do that two-handed. All right, this is Cumberland Street coming up. On your marks, get set, go. I am running, and this camera is really bobbing up and down. But what if I hold it? How is that? Smoother? Hey, she's running over there. I'm not the only freak. And that concludes our running test. Good old Yorkville Village. Well, they've got netting up. Apparently you get a pretty good view on the rooftop of that parking lot. Looks like there's some construction going on up there. There's Hemingway's. Let's try. Getting a look around at Yorkville Village. Pull out the other camera. They got their water feature running. There's the Four Seasons. That store is called The Rock in Karma across the street. I'm gonna head up Old York Lane here.
I'm so sorry.
That's good.
Yorkville Avenue. I'm just going to keep going straight here to Young Street. Oh, and Bel Air is being pedestrianized again. Good to see. That and Market Street, which is equally short, are the only two pedestrianized stretches
Marketing craft.
from spring to fall in the city, and I don't think Market Street is yet pedestrianized. Something we could use a whole lot more of.
Friday? You working Friday? Yeah. Okay.
This is Bay Street.
Does he?
Four Seasons Hotel and Residences, and there is the reference library straight ahead. Normally if I were recording, I would pan up at these buildings on the right. Well, if I were recording handheld. Delivering some treats to the old fire hall. World-renowned success. All right. There's a guy with a phone on a gimbal. As it's back to Yonge Street. I think that was a sufficient hands-free test. I'm not sure. In fact, I'm pretty sure this isn't going to be a regular thing. Maybe I'll try it live streaming. Or again, if there's like a heavy rainstorm or something, but under regular conditions, probably not. But do let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support what I do, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I've got an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button down below if you wish to say thanks that way. So I started by looking up at One Bloor West, and let's finish by looking up at One Bloor West. Anywho, thanks for watching, guys. Yoink!